Yeah, thanks a lot for joining, and also thanks for the introduction of interoperability. I wanted to have, and to try something new. We never had it in a TechX, of course, before, to talk to those who should know not just the technical and the functional specifications in a certified way. I don't think that we have a credential for that yet, but at least a paper, a PDF, as evangelists. On the other hand, what I wanted to pick is their brain on a little bit reflecting on the past, because all of them have been with Gaia-X in various roles and in different sizes of the company, so the selection was not kind of arbitrary. When they reflect, what could we learn potentially from them and also others, and also look a little bit into the future. So it is also very okay for that small group that we contradict or discuss with each others, because the reason would then be we have 3 different types of companies, and I refer to Kai. You are, of course, a smaller size company, even though an orchestrator from day one. But as compared to Libelium, for instance, with, I don't know, you have 12 million euros, something like that. You are a good medium-sized companies. And then, of course, Catherine Simonnin from Orange, which is a little bit larger than Libelium.
340 customers. Million customers.
Million,
so
yeah.
Million
Exactly,
customers.
yeah. So what I would expect, and that is also, it could be interesting, at least for me it would be interesting, whether some of the difficulties they face and some of the solutions they propose depend on their size, on their position in the value chain. And the first question I would like to ask, and I will start with the Catherine. So we have almost a diverse panel, actually. We all know that we have a lot of documents in describing the Gaia-X specifications, from the compliance documents, the architecture document, the ICAM document, the data exchange document. We have software, but we also all know that from specification and the intent of the specifications to real implementations, there is a little bit, there could be a gap. So my question to the panelists, my first questions would be, what was the single most difficult technical complexity challenge you faced when you embarked on the Gaia-X journey? The single, please focus on whatever comes to your mind first, technical obstacle.
Well, let me start.
Let Catherine a little.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay, because
Really?
think, what is the biggest one? I don't know.
Okay, so you delegate. Okay, then please.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
I think that the most difficult for us at the very beginning, was always to really understand properly what kind of formats and what kind of credential, like, okay, I have the web token in Java, exactly who need to sign, what should be included, the guarantee that the parser is really expecting the parameters. So find the right example with the right tutorials to get the right attributes. So I think that happened several times, that even early implementation, we are talking about early implementation, even when you follow the standard, something looks like compliant, but then you go to try to validate it. And that happened a lot. For example, when I use a lot deltaDAO implementation, you go to their solution, and suddenly you want to verify the same solution with a verified credential or a participant that deltaDAO created in the Sense project. I go with the participant credential from Sense. It's a joint project we have with Kai together, and I try to use that in order, if the other implementation is not Plague Festival or is not compliant, is not cross-validated. So I think that the major challenge for me is always when you follow the standards, but some implementation are missing some part of the standard. So how to guarantee when everything is okay, but you don't get the approval, is when you get the, so that for me is the kind of not deterministic, and also it's very aligned with the number of concepts. You need to understand very well from the very beginning the type of credential, the complementarity, how they work, the different formats, the encapsulation when it's signed with which protocol, it is signed with ecliptic Q or RSA or other encapsulation, or it is compressed or ST. So I think we are so open and so diverse that at the end of the day, the technical difficulty for me in the beginning is understanding and later on interoperability between different implementators. So if you are only working with Pontus X, everything is smooth, easy, but suddenly if I want to reuse what Pontus X is providing me in suddenly other ecosystem, then you find some challenge. And that for me was the most initial point.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, understood.
For me, it's a misunderstanding, in fact. Yes, because when you are in Orange, in a huge company, you have many services, and you have to come to each of them asking, okay, you need to be compliant with Gaia-X level 3, and you have a full new vocabulary that they don't understand, and they don't mind about your Gaia-X that they don't know. Yes, but it's a new business, data space business. Okay, when? What is the ROI? Oh, okay, 6 months we'll have an answer, perhaps. And it's a misunderstanding. I need to contact many entities within Orange that are doing services. That will be interesting for data spaces, trust services, to explain them what they should do, fulfill, and so on, to understand. Just to onboard them in something they don't request and they don't understand. So it's the misunderstanding. First of all, a clearinghouse. Okay, the clearinghouse is not doing clearinghouse at all. Now we can start the explanation. This is an example. When you enter a new world that is existing and you want to bring services on a catalog, you need to explain it to the product owner and so on. And there's a lot of misunderstanding.
Okay. Yep. Thanks very much. Kai, please. You are.
The biggest challenge over the last 5 years has clearly been identifying suitable production-ready commercial wallets. So this is needed for the end-to-end compliant Gaia-X flow, and they are there. So we needed to fork, we needed to customize. We did the same for the Sense project you already mentioned. That was difficult, and as you all know, all the bidders know, the credential exchange flows haven't been finalized until just recently, right, to the final version. That was tricky. So we have been running after specifications because, of course, Gaia-X was front-running everything and has foreseen where we converge in Europe. And now we are well aligned, but that was a challenge. I consider that nearly solved. Today's major technical challenge is that Gaia-X needs to go beyond the description of cloud services. This is a bottleneck we face now. We need to be able to describe every digital single service out there with a simple digital product passport for IT services, and that's the work to come in the next sprint. But once we get there, we are well aligned with the European standards, and that is great.
Okay, thanks a lot. If I understood you correctly, Kai, you said that those also technical obstacles were there in the beginning, but we have improved as an ecosystem, not just the association. I mean, as an ecosystem, we have improved. I would like to ask Katharina and Antonio if you agree that the situation also on the technical side or also on the communication side, like, because it's about business cases, whether that has really improved also in your case.
I fully agree, yes.
Okay.
To take the example of the wallet, for example, so Orange is a telco company used to have interoperability and always looking for standards and normalization to have this interoperability. So we have a wallet solution that is well embedded in many data spaces, and because of the work within Gaia-X, I was able to understand that they need to become compatible with OpenID for VC and for VP. So we work all together, and I return it back again to and so now the wallet is compatible a little bit before the others.
Yeah, from my side, I think that the key point today is that we have at least for example, the fast onboarding approaches where you get easily your credentials. I think people is starting to worry more about the business case and less about the credential. That is the important point. I think majority of people that is getting on board in a data space don't know at all what they are signing, what they are accepting. They just get all what is given to them go. Of course, they understand I have a level service agreement, I have a product or a particular product credential, I have a particular user participant credential, I have several things, but I feel there is a lot of new tools like Wizard, fast onboarding, etc., that are helping a lot to reduce complexity. And then we have other people and other contributions, like for example in the Eclipse Foundation with the Eclipse Data Space Connector, where suddenly, in order to make it very usable, they don't respect, for example, they use Entra ID or use other kind of credentials that are not aligned with the standards. That unfortunately is not good because we are not aligned with the standard. Luckily, it's good because at least it's a way to use it or to get on board in a straightforward. So I understand both. On the one hand, it's not good from the standard point of view. On the other hand, it's good because at least they simplify a lot the onboarding. So my experience and expectancy is that whenever we manage to get with this new, with the wallets, with the wizard, with the assistant, that people only know the minimal thing they must know to be aware about what they are doing, I think that will be amazing. I think today we managed to make them on board without being aware, but it's working. Tomorrow will be amazing that we simplify yet more, but at least they really get it, and whatever they approve, they really understand why and for what, and why it requires so many credentials, so many signatures, so many chain of trust, etc., etc., etc. That is for me the key challenge. But at least I fully agree with Kai and Catherine that at least today, with all the tools available, it's working, and people at least is able to onboard even when they don't know what they are doing or signing or accepting, especially end users, suppliers, and customers.
Yep. Please, Kai, you have raised your hand.
I mean, this really touches on the fundamental topic we've been discussing for the last 5 years. Gaia-X in the beginning introduced digital signatures and wallet solutions as the way to go forward to build resilient trust in these digital ecosystems in a less convenient manner as it is today, of course, for the sake of security and cryptographic assurance. And we are all humans. We are not used to this new technology yet. It takes time to penetrate the market. But let's look around us. All across Europe, the European digital identity wallets are coming. This will be just common for everybody. And the same is true for the European business wallet. It will follow the same way. And then it becomes a commodity. This is clear. And these discussions will be a thing of the past. It has been difficult to see ahead with this discussion, but it's necessary to scale trust and security. But yeah, it was a thing.
Okay. Any final comments? Because I wanted to pick on one topic which two of you have raised as the next questions. Final comment to the difficulties?
We need you. If you can join the sprints and the work group, it will be very useful. This is like an open source community. We need you to participate more, please.
Yeah, and if you participate, you can prioritize your own requirements, even in sprints, even at the POC level, and then you would be a trendsetter, and you would be able to enjoy something like a first mover advantage.
Yeah. I will add as technical difficulty that is right now the big challenge is that the technological development go too fast if you compare it with the business readiness levels. So the technological readiness levels is very high. So suddenly, when with Tagus we have everything working, we didn't even throw Loire, we didn't even don't go through. Suddenly we jumped to Danube. Now everything is in Danube. So I found yet, and an example is Pontus X, that they continue with Targus, with the version of. So that is okay. We have implementations of 3 versions. Beyond, we are talking already about notaries, beyond clearing houses, etc. However, we have the reality that we continue using a clearing house that doesn't support all yet the new version, that we have yet the implementation, in my opinion, of Pontus S, that is one of the most commercial available solution, is yet with the version with the initial version of the implementation of the clearinghouse and the way to do things. So that demonstrates that the technological readiness level that for Kai was good enough, for projects that we have together like Sense, is good enough to satisfy our expectation. However, it's totally out of the date with respect with all what we are providing. And then is a lot of issues, because later on I will do a presentation about labeling, notaries, credentials, and it's very tricky because I need notaries, I need labeling, I need a lot of advanced characteristics. However, the realistic implementation today are yet in the basis of verification of participant, verification of service, verification of agreement. So, and if you try to find an implementation much more up to date, beyond academia or beyond some proof of concepts, no. And when you go to real ones, I think majority of them continue using very early stage clearing houses version. And of course, that we have wizards like the Gaia-X laboratories that are not upgraded with a new version, that continue being the same wizard as 3 years ago with the same kind of credential. That doesn't help, because at the end of the day, as I mentioned, people go, use the wizard, issue the credentials in the wizard. If you don't have an upgrade wizard or an evolution of your current credentials to new credentials or something that help you in the transition and handover, what happens is that we use what we know to use. And then technical readiness level is very advanced in versions and early version. Business readiness level is catching the technical readiness level of the initial version, and Pontus is a very good example, and Targus, and we are all using clearing houses in the early adoption. Luar, I think Luar is like IPv version 5. No one will use it. It's like IP version 4, go to IP version 6, so Luar is less used. Danube is a little bit more, hopefully, because all the labeling, etc., will be used much more, and we really expect. So my expectation is that really, with the last version, we really make a big jump to guarantee that we can do a transition and a grade, and people really get up to, because we need it for the labeling, we need it for the advanced service that Gaia-X can bring to the trust, to the certification, to advanced service that can be beyond certification of people, can be certification of service that we require for the AI trust.
Thanks for the keywords, both Kai and Antonio, because you all know, of course, that we have a participant credential, that we have a service credential with the standard compliance and the 3 label levels. And of course, with Danube, we have the extensions. So bring your own rules, go with the sprint, develop your own compliance credentials for IoT devices or some other devices. So these are the 3 possibilities right now, and they will stay. So I'm not going to introduce a new architecture in this Summit 2026 promised. We don't have time for that.
We have too many rivers in Europe. That is the challenge.
When you look at those 3 potential entry points, participant credential, service credential, or your own ecosystem credential, why did you choose, because Catherine, you mentioned you were focusing immediately on the service credential. Kai was mentioning a 2-step approach with participants and then the services. I know you had a lot of target service credentials. And Antonio, you mentioned also the labels is very important. Why did you choose, maybe also for the audience, why did you focus, for instance, I want to ask you first, on the service credential right now? And what would you recommend to other ecosystems where to start?
It's for business reason. We are building trust services, and of course they are more expensive than the hyperscalers. So we need something to show, to prove that it's trust services, it's sovereign services.
So it's label level 2 and 3 you are going for?
For me, the value is on 3. Yes, of course.
Thanks for the clarity.
Yes, for me, there is no value on the underlying one. And we have already several certificates, but this one, an hyperscaler cannot reach it. So this is really a way to show why it's more expensive. And we are struggling today with our customer showing, for example, the AI sovereign services. Oh, well, it's nice, okay, yes. But do you agree to pay more for that? And no, we want the cheapest. Okay, so you want sovereignty, autonomy, or you want your data to be used for something else. The French don't understand the value of their data. And so they accept to take it away, to not understand what's happening, and not to pay more to keep control of their data. And this is really what we are facing today on the business. And the label allows us to take the existing services and have them labelized level 3, because they were already built in this mindset as soon as you solve all the verifiable credential issues.
Okay, thanks a lot. The Kai, you were mentioning both. Maybe is that a kind of recommended path from your side? Start with participants and then maybe go for an extension, please.
Absolutely. If I have to prioritize, it's clearly participant credentials first, and that's for two reasons. Number one is it's a good entry. You understand the basic concept of owning your own identity, and you can engage in all these policy evaluation and decision mechanics based on the participant credential. And now number two, which is more important and makes it my top priority, is there goes nothing in a business relationship without a proven identity. It's the absolute foundation of any trust in a stable legal system. And this is given by the participant credential in the introduction of self-sovereign identities in a high assurance level way. And the point why I'm stressing this is when we look at the data space landscape out there, there's one major reason why it is fragmented. It's not that we use different technologies. That's okay, and that's important to be resilient. But fragmented identity ecosystems, that's the real issue why participants cannot reuse their identities and roam across these data spaces. And that makes the participant credential and the identity layer established by Gaia-X so important. Once you settle that standard, aligned with European standards, you can reuse your identity everywhere, and that makes it truly valuable.
Okay, thanks a lot for that clear statement and message, actually.
In our case from Libelium, Libelium, at the end of the day, one of the key values for us is to enable trust in data quality, and also that was the beginning, because as an Internet of Things company, we work a lot in data quality. Now today we are extending data quality with AI service, especially digital twins are helping us a lot to enable very advanced value proposition with the data from IoT. However, when we start including AI, we need to guarantee that this AI is making the right use of all the AI Act. We are approaching the right rules and the right compliance with the different points. So for us, we have a laboratory with the certification of the ISO, International Standardization Organization 17025 for data from IoT, for sensors, more signals-oriented, chemical-oriented, and now we extend with the opportunity to have also the certification for 17029. So that means that now we are also able to certify service, and of course, when we say service, AI service, we can create under that regulation different schemas. So for us, Gaia-X was amazing because it's the first kind of regulatory industrial-oriented body that can help us to find an ecosystem to issue this third type of credentials that can be aligned with the process we are providing, aligned with IEEE or HCTC data or other organizations that tell you how, and the credential itself that give you like the visa, I say a stamp visa that you are approved to do this activity, is a working visa or is a high quality or is a decision-making visa or is only informative. Just to give you an example, air quality is a very good example. In air quality, there is a normative from Europe called CEN TS17660 that say very clear, it's one normative from Europe that say, this sensor is useful for informative, but it's not allowed to raise an alarm, for example, limiting traffic. This sensor is good quality enough, and with this sensor, then you can activate a protocol to limit the speed in the city center. So then, if I have a sensor that is good for informative, I have a sensor that is good for activating a traffic protocol, and I have another sensor that is even good for other activities, this level of trust on data also is good for machine-oriented mechanisms with AI to guarantee that whatever service I am enabling has the right protocol. Because other way, if I activate a protocol with the grown sovereignty, with the grown capacity to activate the protocol, because I was using data that was not trustable or with the enough quality, that could create it. So show up in a legal process like a radar. When you get a speed radar, you need to show that the sensor is calibrated, that it's good enough, that the accuracy is good enough. So the same for air quality for the domain. So the same way that gives us the trust. And AI is very challenging because, and that's for me what Europe needs to do. AI has the big opportunity of being specialized in Europe. When you have general AI, that they don't care if air quality for general AI, they don't know if this is a 5,000 euros IoT sensor that give you very informative but not compliance enforcement data, to a 300,000 euros that is a station with regulation that give you high compliance. For them, satellite, reference station, or IoT is the same for the LLM in general.
For the general,
however,
yeah.
For a Gaia-X compliance AI service for a smart city, I can make the difference if the data is from informative level, enforcement level, or just satellite. So this differentiation for us is crucial and give us the right opportunity to enable more trustable AI service. And this is where I feel that AI, specialized AI, where you make a difference between the labeling, the data quality, the other level of trust, like this is a verified source, this is golden truth, it is just rumor. So just to make this verification, if we can map that to a specific service extension and credential via notaries that validate that for me are all the extensions that having a laboratory, having the notaries, having the right information, smart data model, etc., to introduce all these attributes will bring a lot of guarantee. And just last point is that just Spain this week approved the new agency for AI with huge penalties. It just was approved the law. Of course, we expect our government will not start enforcing, but the law is already there. So it's an authority with the same capabilities as the taxes authority. So that for me is a huge opportunity, because now there's really huge penalties that will force that this money you say, I will pay for the service, I will pay for the service plus the compliance to make sure I don't want a 10 million euros penalty that will destroy my semester or my company forever, you know?
Thanks for the vivid example and lucid example how the future could look like, and that brings me also for time reasons to my last question to the panelists. If you look ahead like 3 years in time, how would you describe a realistic ecosystem based on the Gaia-X trust protocol and compliance, etc.? How would you describe that in 3 years? Realistic, we are at the technical level, so we do not need to oversell here, number one. And number two, maybe a sub-question, what things need to go right and go well in order to come to that future state?
For me, the most important is interoperability. So I will say some normalization that will help any tools to be replaced by another one. Okay. No dependency, sovereignty in terms of autonomy, no dependency with EDC connector, but a lighter one, for example, that everybody can use, like the one from Gaia-X who is working on DTA, if I remember the name. Why not?
We will have 5 connector sessions tomorrow.
So in 3 years, DTA is there. It's fully aligned with normalization, very light to operate and used by all the data spaces. And second point for me, AI, why in Orange we invest in sovereign AI, it's because data spaces is, as you mentioned, eating data, really, and wants to eat more data. And we don't understand the value of the core data. And sovereign AI is being able to explain the result, this is the minimum, but also being able to say which data was trained, was used for the training. All the data sets used is also key, and the operational model, which is very often forgetting. And this is present in the labeling system. So for me, the second point in 3 years' dream is that all type of services can be labelized level 3 within Gaia-X.
Okay, excellent. Thanks a lot.
For me, following your comment, for me the most important is that this is legally validated and accepted. It's beyond de facto, is that when you issue a certificate in a laboratory certified by other accreditation bodies, national accreditation bodies that are ILAC, for example, give you the global network of accreditation laboratories.
You mean the Gaia-X standards are kind of certified?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think that having that you will recognize Gaia-X certification as today happen in a lot of certificates. If, for example, in logistics,
I get it, yeah.
in
Okay.
logistics happen a lot. You have a label in logistics that guarantee that you have respecting the cold chain or you are respecting some sustainability aspect. So for me, that in a legal aspect or even in an industrial aspect, having a Gaia-X certification is industrially accepted and also, of course, legally accepted by government. So whenever they say it is a Gaia-X certified, we'll say it is like a certificate coming from Bureau Veritas, or coming from other authorities that tell you, okay, I believe this is an authority that know how to make it, know how to satisfy. They have a network of notaries that follow complementary process and legally binding that at the end of the day say, okay, you have this certificate, has real validity for you. So that happened for us because, for example, today having ISO 9001 for quality is like a standard, everybody has it. Or you have other standard for cyber security is well recognized and accepted. So the key point is how to guarantee that having a Gaia-X certificate of compliance is industrially seen with the right approach. Just to give you, for example, in France, the B label is nothing. You have Danone, this B label certified sustainable. So this kind of B label is industrially accepted. No one is asking you to have a B label in sustainability. However, the ecosystem consider positive to having a sustainability B label, and tomorrow we have a Gaia-X label that the community request, accept, and of course is widely adopted and widely recognized and widely requested, because when this requested, business is coming.
Yeah, I need to answer on your suggestion already, because we are working at Senelec actively to make the standards and contribute to the standards for trusted data transactions, which include trustworthiness requirements and also interoperability requirements. We are working actively, so we are writing basically the relevant parts of the standards where the trust framework and what we call trust protocol are defined. And the definitive goal is, and this is a realistic goal, that we can also prove, I don't know exactly how, that if someone uses the Gaia-X trust protocol, he automatically fulfills the European norm 18235 parts 1, 2, and 3. And that means that you automatically, that's the presumption of conformity built into the Data Act, that you automatically fulfill for Gaia-X only the trust-related requirements and not others for data spaces. So that is our goal. And the second thing is, which is actually last Friday, we are working, and I'm the editor of that, on a trust framework standard at the ISO level. I'm the European part of the ISO, so we will also look for kind of, I think one of you, Antonio, you said, no, it was Kai, that we have different identity frameworks, etc. So hopefully we can also convince the ISO folks, the Japanese, whatever Canadians, to work on that, at least for the specifications, to rein in the complexity. Kai, what's your take on a realistic Gaia-X trust protocol-based ecosystem in 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years from now, digital identity is going to be a commodity for natural persons and for legal persons.
Yeah.
So that's given, at least for Europe, but I think the wave will go way beyond that. Once this standardization takes its commercial solutions are available at scale, also public sector solutions available at scale, and they are mandated. So that's all. That's the foundation on which Gaia-X
Agree, yes.
The second part is success is when a good majority of services are described according to the Gaia-X trust framework in a transparent
Thanks a lot, Kai. That was almost an ending statement. I would even suggest to use that. Any additional one sentence you want to add finally to the audience?
Please join work group and sprint. We need you to go ahead.
Please think about usability. Think that your mother must use it someday. So think about usability, because if it becomes a commodity and we really want to scale up in the market, things must be extremely much more simple than today. And even we have to guarantee that can be widely adopted, because otherwise will happen like XML versus JSON. Tomorrow our major challenge is a competitor make it just simple. If they make it simple, we are dead.
Yeah.
Let's make sure that we take much more care of usability, because technically we are the best. Usability is yet a challenge.
Thank you very much for that slogan, because Kai mentioned one day or in 3 years, Gaia-X will be invisible like any good infrastructure, like the power grid. Thanks for providing that guidance and also reflection of path. Applause to that really nice. I hope we have captured the discussions. They were quite a nice set of recommendations. Thanks a lot, my panelists. Katharine, thanks a lot. Antonio, thank you. Kai, Remo, thanks. Thanks for being available. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So, well, then can